scaring me. And we were attacked.
Daddy.
Spoiler warning. Wolfman ending isn't just shocking, it's a lie. Buckle up because this breakdown will rewrite everything you thought you knew. The story begins 30 years ago in 1995 in the hilly region of Oregon, USA. In a quiet village nestled in the wilderness, a young boy named Blake lived with his father. Blake's mother had passed away long ago, leaving his father to raise him alone. Concerned for Blake's safety, especially with disturbing rumors circulating about a bloodthirsty creature resembling a human roaming the area, Blake's father often acted strictly to prepare his son for the harsh realities of their surroundings. Recently, a hiker had been attacked in the hills, which only deepened the father's anxiety. Blake, however, was just a child. He was captivated by the natural beauty around him and blissfully unaware of the lurking dangers. One day, during a hunting trip with his father, Blake wandered off to admire some mushrooms, unaware they were poisonous. His father quickly intervened, warning him about the mushrooms and the hidden dangers in the forest. But Blake, still too young to grasp the seriousness, continued to be enchanted by the beauty of the place. Hunted, a deer appeared. Blake's father aimed his gun, but the deer suddenly bolted. While his father's attention was on the deer, Blake ran off with the gun, hoping to hunt it from another angle. Peering through the scope, he instead saw a terrifying, man-like creature growling menacingly, its eerie growl echoing through the woods. Blake froze in fear, and his father rushed in, scolding him harshly but out of deep concern. They retreated to a nearby treehouse for safety. There, through the gun's scope, his father spotted the mutilated body of the same deer, slaughtered by the mysterious beast. He took a shot at the creature, but missed, and the beast fled. When Blake asked about the creature, his father lied, claiming it was just a bear. Later, however, Blake overheard him on a phone call admitting the beast was real and that he had to kill it to protect his son. Fast forward 30 years, and Blake is now a father living in San Francisco. He has a young daughter whom he adores, and he's determined to be a better parent than his own father. Unlike his dad, Blake wants to protect through love, not fear. He works part-time as a writer and spends most of his time at home, strengthening his bond with his daughter. His wife, Charlotte, is a busy TV reporter, often unable to spend time with the family, creating some emotional distance in their marriage. One day, Blake loses his temper and scolds his daughter harshly for her mischief, which upsets her deeply. Realizing his mistake, he immediately apologizes and promises never to raise his voice again. Their strong father-daughter bond is reaffirmed as she tenderly places her hand on his forehead and guesses his thoughts. He's thinking about how much he loves her. Blake then receives a letter from the authorities informing him that his long-lost father, who had disappeared decades ago while trying to kill the beast, has been confirmed dead. Though Blake had resented his father's strictness, the news shocks him. Wanting closure and to reconnect with his family, he plans a trip back to his childhood village. Charlotte agrees, realizing she's also been distant and wants to make amends as a mother. Upon arrival, they struggle to find Blake's old house. The place had changed significantly over 30 years, and they'd lost internet connectivity. Eventually, they spot a man with a gun near a treehouse. Though alarmed at first, Blake recognizes him as a childhood friend who helps guide them home. However, a strange figure suddenly appears in front of their vehicle, causing a severe car crash. As they recover, the beast attacks, killing Blake's friend. Blake gets injured but manages to escape with his family to the old house. Inside, they're safe for the moment. Blake turns on the generator for light, and they try to make sense of what just happened. Charlotte suggests calling for help. Blake finds his father's old radio, but fails to connect due to mismatched frequencies. Soon after, Blake's condition worsens. His injured arm begins bleeding, his teeth start falling out, and his senses heighten dramatically. Charlotte notices that the wound looks like a claw mark, not a glass cut, realizing Blake might have been infected by the creature. Blake hears loud footsteps that only he can perceive, leading him to suspect something strange is happening to his body. He hears the sound of spider walking and realizes his senses have drastically changed. The beast that attacked them, a werewolf-like creature, had passed on its virus to Blake. His transformation begins. His teeth fall out, new fangs grow in, and his hearing and sight become superhuman. Overwhelmed, he struggles to maintain control. That night, the creature attacks again, breaking down the door and dragging Blake. Charlotte fends it off with an axe. Though the creature is driven away, Blake's condition deteriorates. He loses the ability to speak and begins seeing the world differently. His daughter is frightened, and Charlotte tries to calm her, assuring her that her father is just sick and they'll get help in the morning. But morning is too far away. Blake's wound becomes rotten, and he begins scratching and biting himself. Charlotte realizes they need to act immediately. She decides to flee in the car, but the beast attacks again. They escape into a nearby greenhouse where the creature claws through the roof. When her daughter nearly falls through a hole, Charlotte saves her. Realizing the greenhouse isn't safe, Blake sacrifices himself by luring the beast away while Charlotte runs to the house with their daughter. Blake returns home later, nearly fully transformed into a werewolf. He vomits blood, revealing severed wolf fingers. He had bitten the creature during their fight. As his transformation completes, he realizes he's becoming a threat to his family and attempts to leave. But standing at the door is another wolf. It's his father, now also fully transformed. A brutal fight ensues. Blake is initially overpowered, but he ultimately kills the creature by ripping its neck. Shockingly, he notices a tattoo on the wolf's arm, the same one his father had. The realization hits him hard. His father had been infected and turned into the very monster he hunted. Blake's transformation completes. He tries to attack his family. Charlotte, recognizing the danger, arms herself. Though he doesn't attack them, Charlotte fights back to defend her daughter. Eventually, they hide in a barn and set a trap. Blake steps into it and injures himself further. Desperate, he bites through his foot to free himself and continues the chase. The family ends up back at the treehouse. Charlotte finds a gun and hides inside with her daughter. As dawn breaks, Blake finds them but doesn't harm them. His daughter reads his thoughts. He wants to die to protect them. Unable to shoot him herself, Charlotte is finally provoked by Blake's pleas and pulls the trigger. Final moments. Blake looks at the landscape he once adored as a child. His daughter, reading his mind again, tells him, "You're still thinking about how much you love your family." With those words, Blake dies peacefully. Mother and daughter, heartbroken yet resilient, embrace and walk forward, ready to begin a new life from the ashes of the old one. Absolutely. Because the ending of Wolfman flips the entire story on its head. What appeared to be a tragic conclusion is actually a carefully constructed illusion. Clues hidden throughout the film suggest that the final scene was a deception, possibly a hallucination or a cover-up orchestrated by the very people the Wolfman trusted. Once you revisit earlier moments with this in mind, everything, from his transformation to the supposed resolution, starts to unravel. The real truth? Wolfman was never the monster. Someone else was pulling the strings all along. Think you could survive Wolfman World? Tag a friend who'd fail miserably. Don't forget to subscribe, unless you're scared of the truth. Our next video reveals the lie the director tried to bury.